Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to today's video. Today I am here to film my March budget. Sorry, I have my rough draft budget. Okay, there we go, off to the side, and it started falling down from the place that I had it. So anyway, today I'm here to film my March budget with me. As you guys can see, I already set up my monthly view. I get a lot of questions about this planner, so I figured before I would even start the video, I would talk about the planner. So this is an Erin Condren focused monthly planner. The main reason why I got it was because I loved the pink, like, leather cover. I have that for my life planner. I now have it obviously for my budget planner. I just really like the look of it, but honestly going forward I will probably just stick with the normal covers because it's kind of fun to like switch it up. And also I feel like these get kind of beat up. You can probably see there's like lots of, you know, little scruff marks and stuff. So anyway, that's the main reason why I got it. I also really liked it because it had a small coil, so I felt like it'd be easy to carry around with me. This planner, the one that I purchased at least, has blank monthly views. So let me actually flip you guys through. So this is going to be the April one. So it's completely blank, which means you have to like put in the month and then fill in the dates. I just use one of my kits from my shop. And then behind it, you get kind of like a more structured page, which I feel like would be really good to put down like things that you need to pay, if there's like certain bills that you need to pay or reminders that you need to give yourself for the month. And then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you get 9 pages in between. I did not add any pages. The one bummer is I'm pretty sure in the back of the planner you don't get any extra pages. So that is something that's different and something that I've kind of had to adjust for. But I've been using some of the things in the front of the planner, like some of the extra boxes and stuff, to track the normal stuff that I would do. So like my taxes that I've paid and savings, things like that. But if you wanted to put together like your 2022 emergency fund or 2022 savings or like any of those kits, this planner would not really work well for that. So yeah, anyway, that's a little bit about the planner. I will have it linked down below if you want to pick it up if it's still in stock, but I figured I'd really quickly touch on that because I do get a ton of questions related to that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I used my 82 monthly sheet for this. I really love this pattern and the way that it looks, so I decided to use this one even though it's not necessarily for the budget, and I'll just use like the extra stuff when I'm using this kit like in the future. So I already planned my monthly view in my life planner, but when I use this kit like for a weekly view, I'll just pull these in as well. I don't worry about wasted stickers because I know I always need extra stickers. I usually leave these 2 blank, and my thought is like I'll put down like if I need to pay taxes or things like that, but for the most part I don't really use those pages. And then this is where I do my budget and my weekly check-in. So I have a bunch of kits here. I have some washi to make it look cute because you guys know if I don't make my budget look cute, like I'm just not Sarah. I have my business budget, which I'm not going to set up on camera this time. I did show it last time, just showing like the structure of everything. And I did do like categories and stuff back in the 2021 budget, I believe. So if you're looking to see like kind of categories and stuff like that written in, that would be a good place to show that. I do have my weekly view, my March budget, and then sinking and transaction. Those are the budget schedules that I like to put together. So we're going to start with the washi on the budget side. So yeah, March is not going to be too crazy for us. I put together like a plan yesterday while we were cutting for March. And the biggest thing is like I have to always pay for certain things up front. So for example, like Macy's Aftercare, I have to sign her up for that like in advance. And when I do that, I have to like pay up front too. So it's kind of a good thing to like get that done and then create the budget, because then I know exactly what it'll be. And she has a lot of days off in March, so that's definitely going to mean a little bit less in terms of what we have to pay. So for my budget, I like to set up my budget, have my income, which you guys know if you've watched my channel for a while. I'm the only one that works. My husband stays at home with Mila, our youngest. So the only income that we have coming in is from my business, Sara Marie. And then I always leave a space for other. We did file our taxes already, and I'm hoping that we get the state refund in March, because we haven't received it yet. That was like, I must have paid a lot more into state, because we have a lot more coming in from state, and we like almost broke even when it comes to federal. So that's kind of funny, I think. I feel like I did a pretty good job of estimating taxes this year. You guys know I like to make my budget look cute, so I'm going to put a little separation. This is just a really pretty like lace detail in between. And then, like I said, for income, we just have Sara Marie. And then I'm just going to put other here as well. And then I'm going to grab my ruler and draw in some lines really quick. So the way that I structure my business and the way that I do our family budget is I will create my business budget first and see like what type of expenses I'm expecting, and if there's any investments that I need to do. So if I need to purchase anything up front, I'll like figure all that out. And then after, like, you know, income or like the revenue minus the expenses minus taxes is what we have left over to bring into our family budget. So that's where I get this number from. Usually it's pretty consistent. Like, unless I'm investing in something huge, it's usually pretty consistent. And also, if I'm investing in something huge, I can also try to counteract that by releasing new stickers, you know, like new functional stickers, or, you know, things like that. I feel like a sale could also help bring in some extra revenue if I'm wanting to invest in stuff. I don't always think of it that way, but that is one way that you can bring in some extra if you have some investments that you need to do for your business. Okay, so we're going to start with variable expenses, and we have a number of variable expenses. So I'm going to write in the expense and then write in the budget. So first we have some utilities. We have electric. Then we have gas, and this is to heat our home. Then we have cable and internet. You don't see all of our utilities. We do pay water and trash, and those are included in our sinking funds, because these are monthly expenses, and any expense that you don't see here is going to be like either a bi-monthly or like every quarter or so. So that's kind of the way that I structure it. We do have, you know, bills, but sometimes they're in different places. Next we have groceries and eating out. We have household, so this is like toilet paper, shampoo, conditioner, laundry pods, like all those fun things. We have gas for our cars. We have our cash dividers. There are certain items that are just easier to pay in cash, and so we do it that way just so that we have the cash. I would never want to make Jason go to the grocery store with a bunch of cash and trying to deal with Mila. We do use our credit card for pretty much everything, and we pay it off completely before it's even due. But there's certain things that are just easier to like pay with cash. When you go get a haircut, especially like with Jason, he goes to a barber. When I go get my eyebrows threaded, it's just easier that way. And that way you can tip in cash and everything like that. Next we have Aftercare. Like I mentioned, this is for Macy. She's actually in kindergarten, and where we live, they don't do full day kindergarten. We have our sinking funds. And then we have unbudgeted. So hopefully I included everything there. For some reason I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm sure it's just me worrying. And of course the nice thing about my stickers are they are repositionable, so if I did miss anything I could just pull it up and write it in and it would be all good. Also, I don't think I mentioned I am using a new pen, and I will have it linked down below if you want to check it out. I've been really liking it. It's the Energel needle tip. It's 0.3, and I feel like if I don't have lotion on my hands, which I do right now because I always like have to put lotion on so I don't look like crazy ridiculous in these close-ups, I write really well with them, like a lot better than the ones that I have been using, which is this one here, the Emoji, I think. So anyway, it's kind of fun to try out a new pen. Okay, so in terms of what we're budgeting, electric, we're going to do $100, and I'm kind of basing this off of what we paid last year in 2021. So when I'm creating these rough draft budgets, what I do is I'll pull out my old budget planner from 2021, and I'll see like what our actual amount was, and then I add some to it because of course we all know inflation, things are a lot more expensive nowadays. So we budgeted $100 for electric, $100 for gas. We are still in cold months here in Illinois, so we are using our gas quite a bit. Cable and internet is $205. Then for groceries, we're doing $800, and this is kind of a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. So what we're doing is we're doing $200 per week per Monday. So we go grocery shopping, or I should say Jason goes grocery shopping on Mondays, and I just count the number of Mondays in the month, and that is how much we budget times 200. So $800. Eating out, we're going to keep at $300. That seems to be a pretty good amount for us if we are not going crazy. Household, I'm going to do $150. I feel like $150 is kind of a sweet spot. I always try and decrease it to $100, and I feel like we max that out pretty quickly. So we're going to do $150. Same thing with gas for our cars, $150. Cash dividers is going to be $365. So this includes $220 for our allowances. So I get $100, Jason gets $100, and Macy gets the potential to make $20 by doing extra chores. It's not stuff like cleaning up toys or making her bed. It's something that like me and Jason would have to do. My eyelashes, I go get those filled every month or every 3 weeks, and that's $85. And then for haircuts, so for like my waxing and threading, for Jason's like monthly haircut, we do $60. That brings us to a total of $365. Aftercare was $260 for March because we did have a credit from like a snow day, and then again, she's just off a bunch of days. And then for sinking funds, we are putting in $2,145. And then for unbudgeted, we do $0. So that brings us to a total of $4,575 for variable expenses. Next is going to be our fixed expenses, and these are expenses that do not vary throughout the month. So I know that this is what they're going to be. So first we have our mortgage. Our mortgage includes our principal, our interest, our property taxes, and our homeowner insurance. Kind of a fun thing is recently we got a notice in the mail saying that if we wanted to, we no longer had to do an escrow because we have so much equity in the house. I don't know if there's an exact amount that they look for, but we have so much equity in our house that they're okay with doing that. But you know, we have no idea what we're doing in terms of staying or going, so we're just gonna leave it the way it is. It makes no difference for us. And honestly, them keeping track of when things are paid and everything is just easier on my end. Next we have Netflix. And then we have Amazon Prime, which I believe is actually going up in March. And then we have life insurance. We have the girls' 529 plans. We have retirement. We have our cell phones. We have my orthodontist appointments. We have Orange Theory. And then now we have Macy's camp. So we signed Macy up for summer camp, and they give you the option. So like, she doesn't start summer camp obviously until like I think it's June. So they give you the option to either pay it all up front, or you can pay it like monthly, which I just felt like it made more sense to do it monthly, because otherwise it'd be like $1,000 bill all up front. They charge you nothing extra to do it that way, so it just turns out really nice for us. But we're gonna be like slowly paying for that, and then even during the summer, like each month we'll also pay. So it just kind of spreads it out a little bit, especially with us still paying for like aftercare and stuff. It just made more sense to do it that way. So our mortgage is $1,671.86. Netflix is $17.99. Amazon Prime is going to go up to $14.99, and I think I may consider doing like the annual plan. I'm not going to do it this month in March, but I may switch it over and then just make it like a sinking fund going forward and just put a small amount, because it's just, I don't know. It's something that I use primarily for the business, but I also use it for personal reasons, which is why I don't include it in my business budget, because I feel like you have to be very careful when you consider things business expenses, but you also use it for personal reasons. So anyway, I may do that next month, but I'm just going to leave it for now. Life insurance for myself is $42.55. The girls' 529 plans, we put in $400 per month, and then retirement we do $1,500. Cell phones are $80. My orthodontist is $195. Orange Theory is always $169. And then Macy's summer camp is actually $169 as well. And we will be paying $169 for the summer camp until I think July. So our total fixed expenses come out to be a total of $4,260.39. So those are all of our expenses, and then I like to put in a total at the bottom for our savings. Right now, the only debt that we have is our house, which is awesome. So everything extra that we don't, use for business expenses or our home or household expenses goes into savings. So we're hoping to continue to save so that if we ever do end up getting another house, we have money for the down payment, we have money for like new furniture and moving expenses and all of that fun stuff. But for now, everything's just going into savings, which is just fine. So next to my budget, I like to put in a spot for my weekly check-in. And that's just so that like as I'm doing the weekly check-ins, I can reference my budget. It comes in really handy, especially like the first week that you are doing it. So I'm gonna grab these guys here. And I track 5 things. I track groceries, eating out, household, gas for our cars, and then unbudgeted. So I need 5 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I normally just do 4 weeks of tracking. It seems to work out best that way, but also I would be kind of limited, I think, on space with tracking 5 things. So it just works out that way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It feels so nice getting this done like so far in advance, because we still technically have like a week until March starts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it feels really great to get this done. I was kind of debating like, oh, we're really busy with mystery kit orders. Like, should I just skip doing this week? But I'm really glad that I sat down and made the time to do it, because I think it really does affect how prepared you feel for the month ahead. I feel like I'm angling this. I hope I'm not angling this too much. Yes, I'm definitely doing it. So yeah, anyway, I'm really glad that I'm sitting down and doing this. This month I've been really good about also, like, I guess I should say in March, oh my goodness. In February I've been really good about sitting down and recording expenses, like, very timely, and I feel like that also makes a huge difference in how the month feels. I've been budgeting for a long time, and I can tell you the months that I'm like on top of my budget, those are the months that I just feel so much better about budgeting. Okay, so we have our budget done, our weekly check-in done. So now let's move on to sinking funds. This should not take very long. I know this video is probably getting really long. This part should not take that long because we still have a whole week left in the month. So I'm not putting in what we're beginning with. I'm just going to put in what we're adding, which again just makes it a little bit more simple. So we do have a number of sinking funds that we need to put in for the month. We're not doing anything crazy different to sinking funds. I feel like what we've been doing for a while has worked, but we do need to up our sinking fund amount for medical because we do have some expenses coming in for Jason's heart appointment still. And then Macy actually just recently sprained her ankle, which is going to be another bill that we're going to have to pay for pretty soon. So anyway, we're going to get into the categories and then we'll put in what we're adding. So I have a lot of different categories. Just remember that if you're starting off budgeting, you don't need to start with this many. It's just something that I fine-tuned over the last, like, let's see, I think I started budgeting when Macy was about 1 and she's 6 now. So over the last 5 years that we've been doing this, we've been adding things, fine-tuning it. So again, don't feel like you have to start with this. We do have beauty. So this is for my makeup and my face wash. Those things are a little bit more expensive, so I like to just save some so that instead of having like $100 bill every couple months, I just put, you know, a small amount every month aside. We have car insurance because we do pay our car insurance every 6 months, so we just save a little bit for that. Then we have car maintenance, so this is anything to maintain the 2 cars that we have and then the motorcycle. Same thing for the car tags. This is for the 2 vehicles that we have and then the motorcycle. Then we have chat books. This is something that I use for the girls for their photos, and it's something that I have had on my to-do list to do and I have not done in a long time, but I will be working on that soon. And then we have Christmas and gifts. So this is for obviously Christmas, but also for birthdays, holidays, things like that. And then we have clothes for the entire family. So we split it out by person. We have clothes for Jason. We have clothes for the girls. And we combine the girls because Mila has a lot of leftovers from Macy, like a lot of hand-me-downs. There's definitely times where I pick up like matching stuff for both of them, but for the most part, Mila can use Macy's clothes. There's, again, a few times where we get something new for Mila, but for the most part, she's using hand-me-downs, so it just makes the most sense to like combine them because Mila doesn't really need her own sinking fund. And then we have clothes for myself. You could definitely combine those if you have better self-control. I really love clothes. I love buying clothes. I also feel like because of my size, I'm 5'2" and like very petite, I feel like I struggle to find clothes that fit right. And so when I find a shop or whatever that sells clothes that I like, it tends to be like higher end stuff, like more expensive stuff. There's this one store that I love, it's called Dry Goods, and you get a shirt, like the shirts can range from like $30 to $60, and that could add up really fast. So instead of combining these all and me spending all the money, I make it a point to have them separate so that I'm not using extra money that like should be there for other people. Again, if you can put them all together and do it that way and you know you're not going to spend it, that's great. I just know personally, like with how many like leggings and things I buy, like workout clothes, and then like, you know, cutesy clothes, I could definitely spend some good money on clothes. So we have it separate just, you know, for that accountability there. Then we have our Costco membership, which we actually just recently paid. We have diapers for Mila, and this is like diapers, wipes, anything like that we may need for Mila. It's kind of like a diaper / baby fund, even though she's a toddler, but still. Then we have entertainment and vacation. So we combined these recently because we tend to spend a lot of money out of entertainment, but we have not gone on vacation in so long. So it just makes more sense. Like if we're gonna do like little trips or little like fun things to do, like we shouldn't, you know, constantly be over in the entertainment fund. Anyway, we combine those. Then we have family pictures. We are hoping to get some family pictures done in the spring, I think. And then we have Jason's golf sinking fund. Jason loves to go golfing, and so we put a little bit aside so he can do that in like the spring, summer, and fall. We have a home maintenance sinking fund. This is for our home, just for anything that we may need to fix. Jason's officially done now with the back door, and it looks amazing. So I think there's some other little projects that we're going to be working on pretty soon, and you guys will hear more about that as we're doing it. And then we have medical, and this is honestly medical and dental. It's anything related to like those, you know, expenses. And then we have tolls, and in Illinois we do have like an iPass system, so you have to pay to like drive on certain roads. So we have money set aside for that. And then like I mentioned before, we do have a few utilities in here. We have trash and water. Okay, so those are all of our sinking funds. Again, not where we originally started. I think our first sinking funds, we had maybe 2. I think it was like, I was planning out a surprise cruise for Jason. So I was putting money aside for that. And then I think the other one that we had was for our car insurance, and it's just grown. It's grown because they honestly work so well. It's really nice having money set aside for these items because you know at some point you're going to need money for these. So instead of, you know, seeing a huge dip in your normal checking account or your savings account, you know, you're just using money that's set aside in a separate account. And that's the way that I handle it. I personally like having my sinking funds in a separate checking account. And honestly, once I transfer the money into this account, because it is one account, all of these are in one account. And that's why I track like all the balances here. But once the money is transferred into the sinking fund account, I kind of assume that it's gone. Like I don't really consider this our money anymore. When I'm thinking about like net worth and things, I don't really think of this because I think of this as already spent. Like this is stuff that we're gonna have to spend money on. And so anyway, I know some people think of it as savings. In my mind, savings is different because like most of the time you're saving, you may be saving for something specific. That's a little bit different. But for us, like our savings is just straight up savings. We don't really have it allocated to anything yet. I mean, eventually we will probably be using it for a house. But anyway, I know that is, you know, people do things their own ways and that's totally fine. But I just figured I'd mention the way that I think of sinking funds. And I feel like thinking of it that way makes it easier to spend the money because I love buying things, but I hate spending money, if that makes any sense. So for beauty, we add in $50 per month, and that seems to be a pretty good amount. Car insurance is $175. Car maintenance is $75. And then car tags, we do $50. Chapbooks, we are doing $0 because we have plenty there. For Christmas and gifts, we've been doing $300. This is up. We normally would do $250, but we added a little bit of extra money. Jason gets $50 per month for clothes. The girls get $100, and I also get $100. And the reason why we get more than Jason is because Jason, first thing, he gets a lot of free clothes from some like family connections that we have. So he doesn't, like, he has so many clothes, like very nice, like athletic clothes. He doesn't need anything else. But even for like other things, I feel like Jason just doesn't spend money on stuff. Like, he recently bought a pair of new shoes, but like, again, he gets a lot of free shoes. So he doesn't really need shoes. So it's just a little different because guys can wear like athletic gear all the time, and like that's considered like cute. Jason doesn't have like a normal like job, so it's not like he has a dress code or anything. So really he has like one wardrobe, whereas like I have two. I have like my workout gear where like I use to work out and also like just lounging around, and then I have like my cute stuff. And even so, if you look at what Jason's balance is for clothes, he has like a ton of money in there. So anyway, that's a little bit about that. We do create our budget together. We do decide on our amounts together. I know I've gotten comments in the past about like things not being fair, and if you think that I create a budget and Jason has no say in it, that's just not true. We are married, we have our finances together. Jason has just as much say in the budget as I do. And he also would rather money go towards savings than having a ton of money in his sinking fund that he's not spending. So anyway, Costco is $50, or sorry, $5 for that. Diapers, we do $50, right? Diapers, $50, yes. Entertainment and vacation, we do $500. Family pictures, we do $25. Golf, we do $25. Home maintenance, we have been doing $250. Medical, we're upping it this month to $300 because again, we had some medical bills come in, and also we have some more medical bills coming on their way. Tolls, we're gonna do $20. Trash, we're gonna do $20. And then water, we're going to do $50. And this is actually water and sewer, which brings us to the total of $2,145. So those are all the sinking funds. Definitely check back in with some of the weekly check-ins in March to see what our beginning balances are, because again, we still have some time in the month, so we're not going to be closing out our sinking funds just yet. And then I'm going to put together our transaction log right now for our sinking funds. So I do track all of my expenses in my monthly view for like variable expenses, but then when it comes to our sinking fund transactions, those are tracked in this transaction log. I know that may be confusing, but for me, I like to see those things separate because in my mind, again, separate accounts. So that's kind of the way that we do it. And sometimes this whole page is not enough, so I will be using the extra pages behind this transaction log and sinking fund for additional room. But I kind of leave it at this for now because I don't know if I'll need it, and I don't like to like set something up if I don't need it necessarily. So anyway, that is the way that it looks. So again, here's my monthly view. This is where I will track all of my variable transactions. I leave these two blank, and then I have my weekly check-in, my budget, my transaction log, my sinking fund. These two pages I normally leave blank. Again, if I need another transaction log, I will put it here. Sometimes if we have like little trips or things, I will like kind of keep a log of extra transactions or whatever there. And then here's where I put my budget for my business and track my business expenses. And let me tell you, I know like some people are not paper and pen type of people, but we recently filed our taxes, and having my business budget here, having all of my revenue sources listed, having all of my expenses listed and totaled up by category makes it so easy. Like, taxes are so easy nowadays. Now that I track everything and I do a budget in my budget planner, I seriously just take this with me and it's super easy. And then we start with April. So that's kind of the way that my budget is always set up for the next month. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to hear a little bit about our budget for March. Let me know if you guys are making any changes. Like I said, we are making some pretty dramatic changes to our grocery budget. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people are going to have to do just because of how crazy nowadays it is. But yeah, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.